Welcome back to our channel, where we share updates and untold stories about Catherine, Princess of Wales, and her royal family. Today, we bring you some news. Princess Anne first breaks silence and shocked everyone amid King Charles's huge decision. An informant reveals that the royal family is contending with a challenging dilemma over King Charles's intention to abdicate, leading to several disputes inside the Windsor household. The selection of King Charles for Princess Anne's role might surprise many. Princess Anne has publicly addressed the royal family's conflicts with Camilla, Prince William, and Princess Catherine for the first time during King Charles's reign. Princess Anne has always been one of the most diligent royals. She is able to complete 6 or 8 commitments in one day. King Charles acknowledges Princess Anne, his younger sister, for her unwavering dedication, industriousness, and realistic approach to royal duties. The obligation to be inconspicuous while others get attention may exert considerable pressure on younger family members, which may be challenging to navigate. An unexpected event is about to change everything. Participate in our discussion over Princess Anne's unexpected disclosure and the subsequent amazement. Princess Anne, a life of dedication and zeal. Before analyzing Princess Anne's recent revelations that have surprised many, let us explore her roots, beginning with her birth. Princess Anne gave birth on August 15, 1950 at Clarence House, embarking on a life marked by substantial opulence and notable pressure. A ceremonial 21-gun salute marked the birth of Anne, the second child and only daughter of Princess Elizabeth, Duchess of Edinburgh, who went on to become Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, at Hyde Park. Her path differed from that of her elder brother Charles from the beginning. Anne's upbringing was unique, even within her own family. Following the death of King George VI in 1952, Queen Elizabeth became more engaged in state affairs due to her mother's impending accession to the throne and her royal responsibilities. Catherine Peebles, a governess, oversaw Anne and her siblings, Charles, Andrew, and Edward. Notwithstanding the support from others, Anne often had feelings of isolation. In a home preparing her brother Charles for the preeminent role of future monarch, she was the only female. From an early age, Anne acknowledged that she would never attract attention in the manner that Charles did. He was ready for a leadership role, while others expected her to take on additional responsibilities, ensuring her prominence within the royal realm. In contrast to the romanticized childhood often envisioned for a princess, Anne's upbringing was structured, controlled, and intended to prepare her for a submissive role. At the age of 2, Anne's mother succeeded to the throne, profoundly changing the family's dynamics. The world, seeing young Charles as the designated successor, directed Anne toward a fate that emphasized duty, but had less public scrutiny than Charles encountered. She promptly embraced her job, defined by obligation, but without a crown. Being the second offspring, Anne never had the right to inherit the throne. She recognized this truth from a young age, although she clearly articulated her lack of desire to change it. Subsequent to the birth of Charles's sons, Anne's position in the line of succession waned. Instead of nurturing bitterness, she derived satisfaction from her ability to contribute to the royal family in her own way. She seemed to have silently abandoned her ambitions for the throne, focusing instead on creating an alternate path for herself unbeknownst to her. Things were about to change significantly, leading to unexpected developments. We shall explore this issue more later. A significant aspect of Anne's character is her fondness for horses. She found her true passion, and, in many ways, her sanctuary inside the domain of equestrianism. Anne's upbringing inspired her to pursue hobbies and interests, eventually fostering a love for horses. Although the public viewed her as Princess Anne, she found comfort in the stables, where she was simply Anne. Her horseback achievements were remarkable. At the age of 21, she achieved triumph in the European Eventing Championship, solidifying her status as a notable figure in the sporting arena. She received the BBC Sports Personality of the Year award in 1971, demonstrating her dedication and skill. Anne represented the British eventing team for almost 5 years, including her involvement in the 1976 Olympic Games in Montreal. Despite suffering a concussion during an event, she demonstrated the determination for which she was famous, remounting her horse and finishing the course, but with no memory of doing the jumps. In 1986, she became the president of the FD Ration Questre Internationale, solidifying her impact in the equestrian field beyond her competitive career. She remained a prominent figure in equestrian sports, using her stature to promote discipline and support athletes. Since 1971, she has held the position of patron for the Ride for the Disabled Association, a role she continues to cherish. Nowadays, many regard Princess Anne as one of the most respected and reliable members of the royal family. Let us explore the reasons why many claim that Anne is one of the most hardworking and conscientious members of the royal family. Responsibilities of the monarchy since the age of 18. Princess Anne has shown an unwavering work ethic, assuming several royal duties with resolute commitment. Anne's first foray into public service occurred directly following her secondary school, when she established an educational and training facility in Shropshire in 1969. Subsequently, she embarked on a voyage of accountability, representing the royal family on both national and international stages. Over the decades, Anne has been to several countries, including Norway, Jamaica, Australia, and Russia, solidifying her status as one of the most well-traveled members of the royal family. Her first foreign engagement was a state visit to Austria with her parents, followed by a tour to Australia in 1970. It laid the groundwork for a career marked by worldwide representation, during which she often acted as an ambassador for the United Kingdom, fostering international relationships and goodwill. In 1990, she undertook a historic voyage as the first member of the British royal family to visit the Soviet Union. President Mikhail Gorbachev facilitated Anne's prolonged stay, a strategic diplomatic move during significant political turmoil. In 2016, she went to Russia to commemorate the 75th anniversary of Operation Dervish, highlighting her commitment to historical and military memory. Anne's dedication surpasses official state visits. Since 1970, she has extensively engaged with Save the Children, first as its president and subsequently as its patron. She has visited several projects globally, including those in Bangladesh, South Africa, and Mozambique, illustrating her personal dedication to the organization's mission. Kenneth Kaunda, the former president of Zambia, recognized her achievements by nominating her for the Nobel Peace Prize in 1990. Over the years, Anne has associated herself with over 200 charities and organizations, including a wide range of concerns. Her passion for healthcare is evident in her support for organizations like St. John Ambulance, where she serves as Commandant-in-Chief. She further supports the Royal College of Midwives, the Royal College of Emergency Medicine, and the Magpas Air Ambulance, highlighting a clear focus on medical and emergency services. Anne's commitment to education and career development has been evident throughout her life. She has served as Chancellor of the University of London since 1981, taking office upon the retirement of the Queen Mother. She has held the position of Chancellor of the University of Edinburgh since 2011, succeeding her father. In these roles, she has championed higher education and continues to participate actively in academic activities and initiatives. The Princess Royal's obligations go beyond that. She succeeded her grandmother's legacy by becoming Grand Master of the Royal Victorian Order in 2007. She has taken on tasks formerly held by her father, such as President of the Royal Society of Arts and Master of the Corporation of Trinity House, illustrating her readiness for leadership roles within British organizations. Despite her enormous official duties, Anne's most remarkable quality is her ability to consistently keep a rigorous schedule. Among all the royals, including the Queen, she fulfilled the highest number of engagements in 2017. Her considerable involvement in public appearances, activities, and patronages has bestowed upon her the designation of the most diligent royal. Her unequivocal dedication to duty, as seen by her declaration, "Keep me busy, I'm here to work," demonstrates her service ethic. Anne's remarkable sense of duty was especially evident during the events after Queen Elizabeth's demise in 2022. Anne was the first woman to participate in a Vigil of the Princes, keeping guard behind her mother's coffin in both St. Giles Cathedral, Edinburgh, and subsequently in Westminster Hall. This notable act of respect and duty underscored Anne's role as a steward within the royal family, ready to assume the most serious responsibilities. Her dedication to humanitarian initiatives continues with groups like Mercy Ships, which operates hospital boats providing medical aid in impoverished countries, and WISE, which advocates for women's participation in scientific engineering and building fields. Anne's patronages exemplify her broad interests and dedication to improving communities and industries. Throughout her career, Anne has shown a pragmatic demeanor. Her biting wit and sometimes abrasive personality, which earned her the nickname her royal rudeness in her youth, have also contributed to her reputation for honesty and reliability. Unlike many other members of the royal family, she opted not to confer titles upon her children. Notwithstanding her elderly age, Anne exhibits no indications of deceleration. In 2023, Anne replaced the Duke of Kent as the chairman of the Commonwealth War Graves Commission, a role she assumed owing to her broad array of duties. This role involves honoring the memory of those who died in combat and her persistent support for military groups. The enduring connection between Charles and Anne. Despite their differing backgrounds within the royal family, Princess Anne and King Charles have had a cordial, enjoyable, and supportive relationship throughout time. The brothers, separated by just 21 months, experienced a substantial part of their upbringing together, navigating the intricacies of royal life while their parents often fulfilled official duties. The connection between Charles and Anne has consistently shown amicability and reciprocal support during their developmental years at Buckingham Palace and in their subsequent endeavors and responsibilities. Their closeness was evident from a young age. In their early youth at Buckingham Palace after their mother's coronation, Charles and Anne were each other's primary friends in a royal setting where their parents often traveled for important obligations. The two siblings established reciprocal dependence. This first connection created a foundation that persisted despite their differing paths within the royal family. Charles, the designated successor, prepared for his impending reign, while Anne, recognized for her extensive philanthropic efforts and public engagements, distinguished herself as one of the most diligent and dedicated members of the family. Despite their distinct duties, their shared experiences of royal upbringing developed a stronger connection. In recent years, the public has seen their vibrant dynamics. A significant occasion during King Charles's coronation rituals highlighted their closeness. As she approached her brother, Princess Anne greeted him affectionately with the term, "Hello, old bean." This succinct exchange highlighted their enduring connection and the cheerful rapport they had maintained over the years. Despite their considerable royal obligations, Charles and Anne have always seized the chance to unwind and appreciate one another's company. Whether engaging in the Braemar Games or exchanging laughter at Buckingham Palace, they have shown that, despite the obligations of royal existence, there is enough opportunity for fun. Their shared enthusiasm for equestrian pursuits has greatly strengthened their connection. Charles and Anne inherited their equestrian passion from their mother, Queen Elizabeth II, an avid rider. The siblings often rode horses together throughout their adolescence, cultivating intimacy via their shared enthusiasm for the activity. In adulthood, they persisted in attending polo events, showcasing their mutual passion for equestrian sports. Besides sports, Charles and Anne have a mutual passion for gardening. In their teens, they jointly tended a little vegetable garden at Buckingham Palace. Charles reminisced about his and Anne's efforts to raise tomatoes with the guidance of Mr. Nutbeam, the palace's head gardener. The two brothers delighted in the uncomplicated joys of cultivating and tending to their little garden, a hobby that has endured into their adulthood. People celebrate Charles's enthusiasm for gardening, particularly at his home, Highgrove House, where he has developed the renowned Highgrove Gardens. His fervor included the establishment of a garden for the RHS Chelsea Flower Show in 2001. Meanwhile, Anne, although not as actively involved in gardening endeavors, continues to appreciate her time outside, nurturing a bond with nature. Their shared interests have enabled the identification of common ground, fostering companionship beyond their formal responsibilities. Despite their rigorous schedules, Charles and Anne have always prioritized one another, demonstrating the strength of their love. Over the years, Anne has always supported her brother, particularly during difficult times. Following the demise of Queen Elizabeth II, Anne took on a crucial role in the ceremonies and traditions that defined the transitional period. She attended Charles during the late Queen's procession, indicating her unwavering support for her brother as he undertook his new role as king. Anne received the esteemed title of Gold Stick in Waiting at the coronation, symbolizing her role as a bodyguard responsible for protecting the Queen. She further functioned as Charles' personal aide-de-camp, riding on horseback behind him and Queen Camilla, exemplifying her commitment to her brother and his new role. Their bond arises not just from common interests and obligations, but also from their capacity to discover moments of comedy and joy. Throughout the years, public events, including official celebrations and family gatherings, have seen their exchange of laughter. During the late Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebrations, Charles and Anne engaged in lighthearted conversation and enjoyed each other's company, setting an exemplary example. The diagnosis of cancer in Charles and its ramifications for Anne Charles's health crisis in 2024, which unveiled his cancer diagnosis, further underscored Anne's commitment to him. Early in 2024, Buckingham Palace shocked the entire society by announcing King Charles's cancer diagnosis. The revelation occurred subsequent to his routine surgery for benign prostatic hyperplasia. During this treatment, specialists discovered an additional health issue that necessitated further investigations, ultimately revealing the presence of a specific type of cancer. The palace has verified that it is not prostate cancer but has not disclosed any details on the specific illness afflicting the king. Despite the pervasive concern both nationally and worldwide, Charles maintained his cool, expressing gratitude for the swift intervention of his medical team and the considerable support he received. His doctors began a schedule of regular treatments, advising him to temporarily suspend his official duties. Despite the king's unwavering spirit, it was clear that his health required careful management, therefore affecting his royal responsibilities. As Charles started his treatment and receded, the inquiry emerged: who would assume the king's many obligations during this interval? Princess Anne, the younger sibling of Charles, assumed leadership in this environment. Her steadfast work ethic and dedication to royal duties earned her recognition, and Anne subtly took on several responsibilities that Charles would have otherwise assumed. She assured the perpetuation of royal presence, keeping the public oblivious to their king's absence. Through her involvement in official engagements and representation of the royal family at international events, Anne became the calming influence that guided them through a potentially volatile era. While Anne was enthusiastic about taking on responsibilities, this period also revealed underlying problems within the family. Reports emerged of a tiny but notable dispute between Princess Anne and Camilla the Queen. The primary issue was not who would assume the king's duties, but rather the management of the situation. As queen, Camilla pressed Charles to fulfill certain tasks, even if it required limiting the number of activities he could do. Her purpose was clear: to depict the king as strong and resilient to the public, despite his illness. This method placed pressure on Charles to make public appearances, despite his health, potentially necessitating further rehabilitation. Princess Anne deemed this approach impractical and maybe hazardous. She asserted that Charles should focus only on his recovery and that the family should come together to manage his obligations without expecting him to surpass his limitations. Anne's viewpoints arose not just from her concern for her brother, but also from her sense of duty. People have always regarded her as the most industrious queen, often engaging in tasks without dissent. Consequently, the solution was evident to her: she would assume the extra responsibility, allowing Charles sufficient time for recovery. The latent tension between Anne and Camilla seemed to intensify quietly. As Anne assumed further royal duties, some saw Camilla's management of Charles's sickness as a failure to authentically embrace her new position as queen. In situations where a unified strategy would have been beneficial, the differing approaches of Anne and Camilla were evident. Insiders suggest that Anne strongly believed that if Camilla truly wished to support Charles, she would take on a larger portion of his public duties, rather than encouraging him to maintain his schedule despite his health issues. Anne, recognized for her frankness, expressed her discontent privately. She questioned why Camilla chose to continue with what seemed to be a traditional tactic. Anne's stance was unequivocal: the king's health must be first, and if it required a complete retreat, it was permissible. Nonetheless, Camilla saw it differently. Camilla contended that a complete withdrawal of Charles from public life, even for a brief period, would instill dread and uncertainty in the citizenry. Camilla said that the populace needs visibility of stability and continuity within the monarchy, which necessitates the periodic presence of their king. In the end, Anne took on the majority of the extra workload. Despite her diplomatic manner and the concealment of evident distress in public, many in her intimate circle recognized the significant strain she endured. Anne's unwavering commitment often required her to travel nationwide, engage in events, and undertake obligations beyond her usual role. She did this not for recognition, but out of a sense of duty to aid her brother and maintain the monarchy's functionality. As Charles's health ameliorated, he began to reclaim some tasks. The palace systematically arranged his obligations to ensure his recovery while he was under medical supervision. The palace said that Charles's treatment would continue nonetheless. He remains hopeful about his development and is eager to gradually resume his public responsibilities. Throughout this period, Anne persistently aided her brother, interfering when required and also attentively overseeing his well-being. Breaking the silence. Princess Anne recently spoke up, shocking everyone by declaring, "It's time to reveal everything," implying that Camilla revealed her true nature when Charles most needed her support, thereby exposing her potential unfitness for the role of queen. The news was heartbreaking, visibly impacting Charles, as tears welled in his eyes upon acknowledging Anne's age and her enduring strength over the years. In contrast, Camilla was clearly shocked, struggling with this sudden change. According to some reports, King Charles made a surprising decision recently. He purportedly appointed his sister, Princess Anne, as the next queen. Sources suggest that Charles's decision seems to stem from a deep-seated confidence in Anne. Throughout his reign and lifetime, she has been his steadfast supporter, demonstrating a tenacity and determination that he believes can navigate the monarchy through modern challenges. To him, Anne embodies the resilience and dedication necessary for the development of the royal family, despite increasing limitations. According to sources, Anne has the necessary qualifications to take on the role and wear the crown. For years, others have acknowledged her capacity to prioritize others, devoting her life to royal duties without pursuing acclaim. At this pivotal moment, she will choose to progress, indicating her desire to serve not only in a supporting capacity, but as a distinguished leader. Anne's relationship with Camilla has been fraught, and her new employment may signify Anne's dedication to aiding her brother, since she perceives herself capable of doing so more effectively than Camilla. Thank you for watching the video. What do you think about the decision? Please let us know your thoughts, and goodbye for the time being.